Welcome to Faith in Focus, the radio show that brings you closer to the heart of faith-based living. Each week we shine a spotlight on how faith influences all aspects of our lives, from worship to social justice. We've got an inspiring lineup today with segments like Faith in Action, where we explore the ways faith shapes the world around us, Christian artist and music spotlight, celebrating the talents of those who use their gifts to uplift and inspire, Christian perspectives on law, offering insightful reflections on how our faith intersects with legal matters, and prayer and reflections, where we take time to pause, reflect, and connect with God. Stay tuned as we explore how faith can transform our hearts and the world. And here's your host.
In this episode of Faith in Focus, we'll be hearing from Dr. Pauline Walley. She'll be discussing how we as Christians can use social media and faith to navigate this digital world.
So what are the biggest challenges facing the church and evangelism today, and how can the church respond to them? You know, all the different things that are happening.
We have had, I wouldn't say I want to talk to, I want to include people who reason like I do, so that there'll be no selfishness and there'll be no pride. We have come before the COVID. There were challenges going on, but we all did not pay attention. And the challenge that started going on with social media. When people want solution or they want an answer to a problem, one of the first things they do is they wake up in the morning, instead of reading the Bible to pray and ask God to give them guidance for the day, they go straight on social media and they start telling the world what they are going through, complain about A, B, C, and everybody who has similar challenge will start advising them. One, social media is for people everywhere. And in journalism, when I was doing my master's, that was way back in 1990, we learned something. I remember that one of our professors says we are going to enter into a global village. Email has just started, was very new in 1998, 99, email, and computer was not popular. It was called word processor. And it says with the word processor coming, we are going to enter into a global village. The world is going to be a global village. With the computer world, we might realize that we can communicate with everybody everywhere. Today, Kevin is dead and gone. Did not live to see this kind of world. So that global village analysis that we did, I started seeing it as we communicate with people with cell phone came on soon after the computer. And with the cell phone, initially, you could only call people within a certain environment. You can't go beyond your environment. And I remembered when I travel, I'll be asking, how can we make sure that we can call people with cell phone outside our environment? And it was almost impossible. So today we have the global village. And you see that you are here. Through Zoom, you can host an international meeting where people will join you from Asia, from Australia, from Africa, from Europe. Family can get together on social media. But that wasn't very effective until the COVID. The COVID kind of shrank the global village. So when the COVID shrank the global village, we started losing people in the church. Nobody want to come to church. Nobody want to come to prayer meeting. They will say, do you have Zoom? I'm going to join you in Zoom. And now we have WhatsApp. If you don't have Zoom, do you have WhatsApp? I will join you on WhatsApp. But the unfortunate thing is that though they come online, they are not actively present.
They're not engaged.
They are not engaged. Thank you for the word. They are not engaged. When you say hello, nobody's answering. And for prayer, you say, let's pray. Everybody is muted. You are not hearing amen. You know, there was a time I was getting angry. If nobody's answering me, I close the meeting. Then later on they said, but I was on. I said, then why didn't you answer? And then they'll say, but I was muted. I said, I'm hearing you, but I'm muted. I said, but that is not respectful.
It's like you're talking to yourself.
Yes. You know, so the challenge we have now is that we are not getting people into our environment because everybody is technological oriented. People are driving, they will say, go on, but they are not involved. So there is no engagement. There is no involvement. There is no response. And then later on, they'll say, didn't you read my chat? I say, how can I be reading when I'm speaking? I am speaking. I can't be reading. So we have a lot of people who are claiming that they are involved in 3-4 churches on Sunday morning. How can you listen to 4 different preachers in how many devices on a Sunday morning, Friday evening? So you find out that when people now have problem and they pose their problem, all manner of faith, religious faith, will be answering them. The other time somebody said something, I said, what you said is not Christian. I said, that is Hinduism. And the person said, how did you know? I said, how I know? I said, don't forget, my PhD came from somewhere. I have studied, I read. And when I did religious studies, we know that when you say heaven help those who help themselves, it is Confucianism and it is Hinduism. It's not Christianity. So because you heard heaven doesn't mean it is the kingdom of Jehovah God. So there are phrases that are filtering into our languages. People are using all manner of phrases because they don't know who is behind the scene on the media. Everybody is on social media. Now, if you Google what is a spirit, the Hindu man is going to answer you. The Buddhist will answer you. The Confucianist will answer you. The churchgoer will answer you. And there are different kinds of Christian denominations out there. And every denomination have their own belief system and own doctrines. Everybody is answering you. So I tell people now that whenever you want a solution, you must say, what is spirit in Christianity? Don't say what is spirit. It's an open-ended question. So the Muslim can answer you. The Buddhist can answer you. The Confucianist can answer you. The Baha'i can answer you. The Voodoo can answer you. All manner of gods will answer you. So that is where we have to be careful that when we are answering a question, we first of all find out who is this. So in this generation, I am learning that being specific helps you to also release specific solution to specific problem. Because there is a new generation of new age. And the new age believes that everything goes to one God. But no, everything don't go to one God. I don't want to take all the time, but we have different heavens. And so when somebody says heaven help those who help themselves, which of the heavens are you referring to? What God and which of the gods operates in specific heavens? And so we have to come to a place where we understand the way this generation reason. A mother called me one day. He said, the daughter, excuse me to go into this, but it's just an instance. Her daughter came back from school and said, Mommy, I think I'm a boy and I'm not a girl. And the mother said, girls have breasts. You have breasts. What makes you think you are a boy? He said, my teacher has always been calling me tomboy. So, is that how you made up your mind? He said, no, but my teacher knows who I am. That is why he calls me tomboy. And everybody in the class calls me tomboy. So, which means I'm a boy and not a girl. So this child is confused from the utterance of the teacher to the copycat students. Everybody is calling her boy. Meanwhile, this young girl, teenage girl, has a breast. The mother started crying and called me. So I told the mother, I said, take a book, a biological book. I said, you are a nurse. I said, show her the classification of boys and classification of girls. And then let her see that she has a hole, she doesn't have a stick. Her chest is not flat. She has balls on her chest, not around her hole. You know, I have to be respectful here because I don't know who is listening. I don't want to confuse another person to say, this Christian woman is being so detailed. But I know. So by the time I walked the mother through, I said, go get a book and I'll go through the book with you so that you wisely use it to help the child. The child started crying and said, so all these years, people were calling her tomboy. Why were they calling her tomboy? Because she looks like the father.
And they say it's lucky for girls to look like their dads and boys to look like their moms.
I look like my dad. Everything like my dad. But I'm feminine. So I told her, I said, you are a nurse. You should have educated your child from home. I said, is it the first time you are hearing that your child is called tomboy? He said, people say it, but I thought it was a joke. I said, we are in another era where you don't take anything for joke. If somebody calls your daughter a fool, correct it right then. Otherwise, words are power. They are sowing seeds of evil into that child. Don't allow that child to become a fool before you correct it. And that's what we do in deliverance. Deliverance is not only chasing away demons, but allowing people to know the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So what I do with this generation is, whenever we hear people say stuff on the TV, either politically or whatnot, I quickly go to my congregation or the people around me and quickly correct what is being said. I say, if you did, because of my background as a journalist, I like to listen to news. So whatever I hear in the news, I don't challenge the person who said it in the news. I just make sure I educate the people around me because I'm constantly speaking. So I make sure I refer to it and say, hey, this is going on. Please, this is the right thing. So I deliver people or I rescue people before they are contaminated and become corrupted by what they hear and what they see. Have I answered your question?
Yes, Dr. Walley. So share with our listeners how, if one wants to learn more about your ministry, they want to support, donate, attend, how can they get all that information?
Thank you very much. This is very important because as an evangelist, I always want to hear from people, feedback and whatnot. Now, our website we have 3 websites actually, but the most active one is www.paulinewalley.org. O-R-G. Pauline Walley, PaulineWalley.org. Once you Google Pauline Walley, you'll find me. The second website is our school, our Bible school, training school, which is www.pwdi.training. pwdi.org or .training. Either of it work for us. The third website, which is not too active, but that is the one I can handle easily, is askdrpauline.com. askdrpauline.com. So you can post your questions on especially paulinewalley.org or even the training. Okay, when you post your questions there, I will answer. And when you have any comments, you can go there. And also, all my books are there and also on other online bookstores, Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, and then other private individuals. Sometimes I see people, setting up my books in their bookstores as well. So there are books there for you to see. And if you want to contact us, I have 2 telephone numbers you can call. The office one, which is always forwarded to any other number that I have, is 718-652-2916. 718-652-2916. The second is my assistant's number that you can always send a text message to. So both phone and text message is 646-761-2082. 646-761-2082. Whatever message is tested, I will get it. An email. Some people don't know how to source the email online. But if you go to paulinewalley@yahoo.com, paulinewalley@yahoo.com, I'll get the message.
Thank you so much, Dr. Walley. This has been so enlightening.
Thank you for joining us today on Faith in Focus. We hope the conversations and insights shared have inspired you to live out your faith in powerful and meaningful ways. From the arts to justice and the law to personal reflection, faith has the power to shape our world for the better. Join us next time as we continue to explore the many ways faith-based living impacts our daily lives. Until then, keep the light of faith shining bright, and may your heart be full of peace and purpose. Grace and peace. Blessings.